Welcome back to another online lesson. This is lesson 1.3 and we're going to talk about rates today. But first, a couple words we have to know. A ratio comparing quantities of two different units is called a rate. Typically, a rate is two different quantities of two different units. For example, miles per hour. That compares miles and hours. A blank has a denominator of 1. A unit rate has a denominator of 1. Again, these will look a little foreign right now, but once we get into solving some problems and use the terminology, it'll make better sense to us. So let's get started. Okay. This is a typical problem where we're going to have to find the unit rate. So let's break it down. Samantha picked 45 oranges in 5 minutes. Write this rate as a unit rate. No problem. Let's look at it. First thing, a rate. We'll compare two different things. So let's look at what two different things this is comparing. 45 oranges in 5 minutes. So I start with, what are the two things, and I put that as my rate. Oranges. We're going to compare oranges and minutes. Always start with the words first. That way when we move to numbers, we know the orange number stays on top and the minutes number stays on the bottom. So let's look. So if we have oranges over minutes, now let's move on to our numbers. Samantha picked 45 oranges, so we're going to put 45 on top in 5 minutes. So 45 oranges in 5 minutes. Okay, so far so good. Write this rate as a unit rate. Okay, if we go back to our definitions, we remember a unit rate has a denominator of 1. So we're going to put our denominator as 1. Now this is where you take, if you think about reducing fractions, think about what number can go into both. All right, we're looking at that. Now, 5 to 1. How can I get 5 to 1? What number can I divide 5 by? 5 divided by 5 will get me to 1. What you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So if I divide by 5 to get to 1, I also have to divide the numerator by 5. 45 divided by 5 is 9. Boom. So we have 9 to 1, and that is now a unit rate. So what that means is it's 9 oranges in 1 minute. We wrote it as a unit rate. How do we know? Unit rates always have a denominator of 1. And how many oranges can they do in 1 minute? The answer is 9. Let's try another one. Emma downloaded 35 songs in 5 minutes. How many songs did she download per minute? Okay, so let's start with our rate. What are the two things we're comparing? Songs and minutes. So I'm going to start with words. Songs over minutes. Good. Now let's write the rate again. This time let's use the numbers. 35 songs. Remember, I'm keeping songs on top over 5 minutes. 35 songs, 5 minutes. Now, this is another unit rate question because it says how many songs did she download per minute. That means in 1 minute. So I'm going to do over 1. Now I look again. And I say, how do I get 5 to 1? what number do I divide 5 by to get to 1? Divide by 5. Okay, 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now, what do I do to that 35? Well, if I divide the denominator by 5, I have to divide the numerator by 5. Divide by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Boom, we have our unit rate. So what that means is 7 songs in 1 minute. So to answer my question, how many songs did she download per minute? 7 songs per minute. Okay. Let's try a couple more. I'm going to set you up with one of these, and then one of them I'm going to have you do completely on your own. Okay, so let's look. Write each rate as a unit rate. So remember, we're going to have our denominator being 1. 72 ounces in 6 steaks. So what are we comparing? We're comparing ounces to steaks. Okay, so let's now substitute with numbers. How many ounces? 72 ounces. Oops. 72 ounces and 6 steaks. Perfect. It wants to know what a unit rate is. So, if we have 72 ounces to 6 steaks, we want to do it as a unit rate, so it's got to be over 1. So think, how can I get 6 to 1? In other words, what number do I divide 6 by to get to 1? The answer, of course, is 6. Divide by 6. 72. If I divide by 6 to the denominator, what do I have to do to the numerator? Of course, I divide by 6. 72 divided by 6, if you know it, great. If not, do some work off to the side. 72 divided by 6. 6 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract, we are at 1. Check, we're good. Bring down 2. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. This looks good, good, good. We are at 0. So therefore, my answer is 12. So writing it as a unit rate is 12 ounces to 1 steak. Okay. This one here. 162 water bottles in 9 cases. Set it up as words. Water bottles over cases. Okay, the next part I'm going to have you do. Remember, do numbers, show me as a unit rate, try your best, and we'll see you in class.